Morning, morning, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. Woo.
Women's Day to everyone. Happy Women's Day.
Just wait a few more moments because I think we'll wait just for a few more people to come in today. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hi, Sarah. Oh. Sheila, I met your lovely, lovely hubby the other day. Oh, you're on mute, Sheila.
She's muted.
Hi, Vicky.
So there we are.
Hello.
I was on mute.
Has to be done. Has to be done.
Has to be done. Yes. Oh, good. Yes, he had. I'd booked to come along and I couldn't make it, so he came instead.
Yeah. We had a good chat. We had a good chat, Sheila.
Good.
Excellent. I think we'll wait one more minute and then I'll make a start with everything. But yeah, so lovely seeing you lovely ladies today.
Likewise, nice to meet you, Victoria.
Oh, hi, Melanie. Hello.
Hi.
Good to have you come on.
I was on mute too.
Yes.
So thank you for that, Sheila.
I did the same actually this morning, I think, with Kelly, and I'm rambling on. And yeah, you don't realise, do you, when you first
lots of gesticulation going on.
Yeah. Excellent. I think I'll probably make a start now, so it doesn't run into everything. But welcome everyone today. So delighted to see you all. Special day, International Women's Day. You know, us at the Kent and Victor Chamber, we obviously like to do something every single year. And I believe that this is the 111th International Women's Day. So yeah, so it's just, you know, looked that up and thought, oh my goodness, you know, that's quite a lot of them. So yeah, a good time to celebrate. Today we are privileged to have Patience with us from ATI Coaching, and she will be discussing the very good topic of this year's focus, which is embrace equity, and how to become the best version of yourself in today's challenging world. So special thanks to her, and we couldn't think of anyone better. Valued chamber member, thank you so much, Patience, for today. And I know that you in particular, you're a great believer, you know, that women need to support each other in order to thrive. And you know, and it's our call to you know, raise each other up, and create opportunities and help each other face challenges. So thank you so much today, Patience. And in regards to any questions that anyone has, there will be a special session in Patience presentation in order to do that. But you know, if anything pops up in your head, then please feel free to use the chat function and I'll pick that up for you as well. But what I will do is pass you over to Patience, and yeah, let her have the stage.
Thank you. So welcome everybody. And I hope you can hear my booming voice. It tends to boom. I don't have a very soft voice, but if it's too loud, let me know so I can reduce the volume. Happy International Women's Day. And I'm excited for all of you coming today for us to really celebrate together. And we're going to have some fun today, sharing some things, and hopefully it's a time for us to talk as well as share some things. So I'll hopefully be hearing from all of you. First and foremost, before I share my slides, can we go ahead and connect with each other and put our LinkedIn links into the chat so that we can all connect with each other? Because you can't support each other if you're not connected with each other, right? So let's go do that first. So I'm going to do that. And when you do that, you know that, I don't know, I think that there's 3 dots at the bottom of mine where you can actually then go ahead and download later on, save the chat for yourself. And then you can use that later on to connect with people, so that you're not distracted now. You know that you can save it once we start. So that's mine. I'm putting in mine. I'm doing as I say to. So everybody add yours to the chat as well, so we can connect with each other. So I'm going to share my screen now and we can start. Hopefully I have the support of Vicky and Kelly to help me with technology if anything goes awry. But fingers crossed, part of what's being discussed as part of the Focus for Women's Day is actually digital, making sure that women have that skill to use the digital technology that we have today in our world. So today I will be talking about the empowered woman and how to become the best version of yourself. And let me see if I can move this a bit that is blocking me up. Okay, so let us crack on. So the agenda for today, we're going to do a bit of welcome and introduction. I will introduce the topic and what we're going to talk about. And then we're going to look at talking about myself very quickly. I'm just going to share a little bit about myself so you get to know me. And we're going to do a little icebreaker. Now, you might hate this icebreaker, you might love it, just go with the flow. Let's see how it works. And you understand why I love the icebreaker. Then we're going to dive into the topic of the empowered woman and look at how to become the best version of yourself. We'll have some discussions at the end, and we will also then do some takeaways. How does that sound? Let me know in the chat. How does that sound? Everybody looking forward to a very productive and celebratory day. Okay, so basically, I want to share how I got here. In 2020 or 2019, before the pandemic, I was at an International Women's Day chamber event. And I sat there and listened to all these fantastic women. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to one day speak here as well? And here I am. Of course, it was live. It was in the chamber building. And I learned a lot of things there. And part of what I'm talking about today, Jo, who is the chamber leader, she said during that session, she said, the best person gets the job, because many times the best women don't put themselves forward for the job. And that really struck me. And I thought, yeah, because not believing in yourself, not trusting yourself to do the job, and so not putting yourself forward. So the truth about it is putting ourselves forward is very important. And that's very important. The other thing I want to talk about in terms of introduction is the whole idea behind embracing equity. We've been fooled and we've been tricked to believe that there's more than one race in the world. There is only one race, human race. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, most of the time, what you need to see is not race, because there's only one race. You need to see the color of people, because difference matters. You can't say a green apple doesn't live in the world as much as a red apple. They are apples, but they are different. Yeah. We need to also understand each other's cultures. To be able to embrace equity, you've got to understand those things. You've got to look differently and have a different perspective. You've got to understand choices as well, the choices you make when you associate with people. So from today, if there's anything you want to take away from how you can embrace equity, is to recognize that there is only one race and there is only one womankind in the world. We are all women. We have the same organs beneath the surface, beneath the packaging. We have the same heart that breaks. We have the same tears. And so when that commonality is amongst us, we can embrace equity. We can embrace how we can give each other opportunities. So that's just an introduction. Today is for me to help you to become the best version of who you are, not trying to be any different color, not trying to be any different personality, but really embracing who you are at the total of who you are, and bringing that flavor into the world, because the world needs that flavor of you. It's boring without the variety, right? So first and foremost, who can name these three women? And what do they have in common? Anybody put it in the chat? I want to see. Who can name these 3 women and what do they have in common? Yes. Yes, that's it. What else do they have in common? Yes, Sheila says prime ministers, and that's correct. What else would they have in common? Families all resigned, exactly. They all resigned. And in the world that we live in today, you know, how many times do you see a man, apart from a scandal that makes them push him out, resign from his job as a prime minister or a leader? It has to be a scandal. These women did not technically have any scandals around them. Of course, Liz Truss is a bit different, but they were kind of forced to live. It's the pressures that getting to the top can affect women, and having to do that fight and having to go on that journey. We are reminded that these 3 women, these powerful women that made impacts, what we remember Jacinda, for example, for is the fact that she resigned. Do you remember that she was the first person to make sure that there is no COVID, there is nobody that caught COVID during the time of COVID? But now that she's resigned, and many things that people said, in fact, somebody took out a farm space and wrote "Goodbye Jacinda" on his farm, you know, and filmed it on the helicopter, not remembering some of the things she did. So that's the challenge women face in our world today. That's the challenge that still face at the top level, the bullying and all the things that happen. So the fight still continues, and probably in our lifetime, that fight will continue. However, we can empower ourselves and we can support each other to build. Let's look at some of the challenges that have been highlighted as part of the journey and the process of what's happening within International Women's Day and things like that. So digital is one of the reasons why there is this celebration of Women's Day this year. And the statistics show that 22% of women make up only 22% of artificial intelligence workers globally. Now that's the AI that is blowing up, that is spreading everywhere. We need more opportunities. Then a global analysis has shown that 133 AI systems across the industries were found to demonstrate gender bias. So if that's the case, my sister recently got an interview that was AI, that AI was used to create. And she didn't have to see anybody, she just answered it. If there is already bias, how much of her chance do you think of her getting that job? You know, it lowers it, right? Right? So a survey has also shown from women journalists that 73% had suffered online violence in the course of their work. You know, there was a recent show on either ITV or something where a lady was talking about how she was being harassed on social media, and she was spreading the information around it, a lot of sexual harassment. So that's some of the issues around technology. Then what about women and girls across the world? Today, I highlighted that we need to focus on a lot of things in my post on social media today. So what are some of those challenges? 1 in 3 women experience gender-based violence in their lifetime. I remember for me, yes, I have experienced this, almost violent, where in my first job, somebody called me stupid and said he's going to slap me because I was challenging his authority. That's interesting, isn't it? So 1 in 4 women experience violence during pregnancy. 5,000 honor killings are reported every year around the world. Every year, 15 million girls under the age of 18 become wives, and the average of 40,000 every day. And 139 million girls are denied the human right to education around the world. So you do wonder, is this thing still a job that we can all participate and make a difference in? Yes, it is. So what about in the business world? Because most of us here are in the business world or in career. So what are some of the challenges? Here are some of them. Having to adopt a male attitude towards business, you know, bringing that masculine energy and having to be really sometimes more aggressive than spreading your femininity is seen as, oh, if you try to be more feminine, it will sound like you're being more seductive than, you know, so people getting ahead try to bring that male energy. Difficulty accessing funding. I don't know why, but it's still something that is of very big focus. Struggling to be taken seriously, imposter syndrome, struggling to own their accomplishments, lack of mentors, including female mentors especially, and balancing work and family life. And then we have 59% of menopausal women have said that it has had a negative impact on their performance. Does anyone resonate with all of these things? Yeah? Does anyone resonate? And really, have you seen this in the world as you move along on social media and everyone? Does everyone resonate with it? Let me see in the chats. Let me know in the chats. And if some of the statistics are really surprising to you as well. Let me know in the chats. Yeah? Yeah. Yes, imposter syndrome, very much so indeed. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So these are the challenges. They are big challenges, but they are not insurmountable. One day at a time, one person at a time. And with the support of other women, we can overcome. So, well, at this point, let me tell you a little bit about myself and celebrate myself as a model for you to celebrate yourself too. So, first and foremost, I'm an accredited business and leadership coach. I'm accredited with the International Association for Professional Coaches and Mentors, which is an accreditation body in the UK. And I'm a trainer, facilitator, and speaker. I really love training and I love facilitating events and being an MC or facilitating people to achieve things and being a speaker. I'm introverted. Yes, I'm an introverted woman, and I work with a lot of introverted women to help them step out of their own way, shine their light on social media, shine their light, whether in the business space. And particularly, I try to encourage my Black introverted friends to join networking and come along and be seen and be heard. I gave myself the nickname, the visionary introverted woman, which lends itself to my strength. I'm very bigger picture and I'm a visionary. I've had 18 years, over 18 years of, I've stopped counting so that you don't guess my age. Well, I've had over 18 years of working in the corporate space as a chartered internal auditor. I love variety, so I've worked in all types of organizations, from the one-man business to public sector to consultancy to PLC organizations. When I think about it, mainly a lot of times service-based organizations, and in that time helping them to do risk management, look at controls, and look at things that will help them achieve their business objectives. And in terms of values, my business values are integrity, empowerment, and excellence. I'll talk a bit about my personal. And in terms of strength, I've said I'm visionary, but I'm also somebody who is connected. I love to connect with people, and I'm a strategist. I love to strategize and help people build their frameworks, help people create their webinars and all sorts of things. And then in terms of training, I train on introversion, courageous leadership, team dynamics, communication, and growth. I talk about growth a lot, personal growth, personal effectiveness. I'm a DISC certified consultant, so I use DISC and I use emotional intelligence as well as positive intelligence as the tools for diagnosis and coaching. I have a family of 4, my children, and I've been married for 25 years. I'm a Disney fanatic. I love Disney, all things Disney. And that brings out the child in me. And you're going to experience how much I love Disney today in the next couple of minutes. So I love adventure and I love puzzles. It plays to my strategy side, and I love walks and all those kind of things. My core personal values are family, faith, and freedom stroke fun. So we want to do, it's your turn now, and hopefully we'll get you to do some talking. We want to do an icebreaker that makes you talk. I told you I love Disney, right? And if you don't, I apologize beforehand. It's like, this is not a children's event. Why is she bringing Disney princesses? Well, here's the reason, because these women represent something very powerful, which I will be sharing once we get to it. But how many of these princesses can you name? And for the person that is able to name them, so you have a notepad there, try and name as many as you can, and then tick them off as well. The one that gets the highest, I will send you a prize. How does that sound? But also, if there is a tie, I would let Kelly and Vicky struggle with how they're going to decide who wins and gets the prize that I'm going to send. So have a go, 1 minute. Let me know within 1 minute. Is 1 minute okay? I'm trying to make sure we use our time wisely. So try, give it a go. Write down how many of these princes, and like I said, I apologize if you have not watched Disney yeah, or any of these films, that you're not a Disney person. So you might not be able to enjoy this as much, but have a go. So 1 minute. How is it going? Has everybody done their bit and you want me to carry on to save time? Yeah? Let me know. I can't see because of that. Yeah, let's see. So yeah, let me know. All done? Let me know. You named 5. You were able to get 5. Somebody got 5. Somebody got 1. Yeah. Yes, Victoria, I know you have boys. But your boys should actually watch this. They need to watch this Disney princesses. Okay. 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 So you're able to name 9. That's good. I think 15, but only if I'm correct. Okay, we'll see. So let's have a go at yes, there are 15 there, and if you can name all 15, that's fantastic. And shame on me, I've watched all these films as well. You know what I spent my life doing with the kids, right? Watching them several times as well. So, okay. And my daughter was also privileged to be part of some of the shows in Disney in Orlando, because she had big eyes and she would sit in the front and suck her thumb and they would go, "You, come and do the dance." So she had a lot of opportunities to be part of it. But yeah, let me go ahead and share with you the answers. So the first one is Nala in Lion King. The second is Tiana, Princess and the Frog, Elsa from Frozen, Anna from Frozen as well, Snow White, Pocahontas, Rapunzel, Tangled. You've got, I made a mistake there and added Rapunzel twice, but you got Aurora, and you've got from Sleeping Beauty or Maleficent, and then you've got Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph, and Belle, Beauty and the Beast, Ariel from The Little Mermaid, Jasmine from Aladdin, Mulan from Mulan, and Merida from Brave. So if you got all of it, or with the error there, if you go at least 14, then you are in the lead for that present. So please make sure that you please keep a count for me, Vicky and Kelly, and so that we can select the winner and get a present going to them. So why did I choose the princesses? Because erroneously, we always think of the stories around these princesses like it's a story about, you know, victims, damsel in distress that need saving. Whereas truly, these are about heroines who really they are not necessarily damsels in distress, but heroines who really fight their way through, come up against the things and the barriers that are holding them back. And a heroine is a woman noted for courageous acts of mobility and character. And also they had wishes and they had dreams which they wanted to achieve, but quite often their fathers or the men in their lives would hold them back. Watch them again with a different perspective now, and you will see what I mean. The king will make an edict. The king will say this. The king will marry another wife that will cause problems, that they will run away from home, all sorts of things, and suppressed their character and their personality. They want to be very tomboyish, but they would say, no, you are a princess. You can't do this. And then the baddies as well were also a lot of women. You know, in the films, there were a lot of women, witches and baddies, who didn't want the women to succeed. And they had sidekicks that were men helping them to achieve this. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? And although the men came to the rescue in the end, if you watch some of the films, the women actually ended up rescuing them. Princess and the Frog, she rescued. You had Rapunzel, she rescued, and they were badass. You know, it's like, damsel in distress, but when it was time to fight, they kicked ass and made sure that things happen. And guess what? I realized that maybe Disney, known for his family life, was really helping his daughters to live in a man's world, because he had two daughters. Yeah, two daughters. So that's interesting, isn't it? So I hope it was fun for you. And when you now go back, I use these films a lot. One of them, Moana, for example, I use her a lot to talk about discovering your dreams. So there are ways that you can use these films. I hope you found it interesting and exciting and, you know, fun. So let's talk about the empowered woman. And before I do, I just want to share a quote. Who knows Brene Brown? Who has heard of Brene Brown? Who has heard of Brene Brown? Yes, do you love her? I love her. She wrote The Power of Vulnerability. She talks about shame a lot and about self-doubt. And she said, owning our story can be hard, but not nearly as difficult as spending our lives running from it. So as I told you, I work a lot with introverted women, and a lot of time the challenge is I want to be more extroverted. And I said, no, harness your strengths. They are very useful. They are very potent, you know. So, and unless you own your story, you cannot use your story to make a difference in the world. You cannot use your voice. They say women already have a voice. They just need to use it, and using it more, right? So this is all about that. So I want to share with you a model that I use in my program, which I call the Aligned Introvert Method. Well, it can be used generally. It's a model that allows me to talk to people about the steps, the simple steps that they need to take on their journey towards empowering themselves and being the best version of themselves, and having that strategy that you apply in the world. So let me share that with you now. The first one is stepping out. You need to step out to fulfill your ambitions. The ambitions that you've buried, that you allowed circumstances. That is also why I talked about the Disney princesses. A lot of them had ambitions to make a difference, to run the kingdom differently from the way maybe that their fathers or people did. But they were suppressed until the end, when they moved from damsels in distress to damsels who used distress to emancipate themselves. Then we've got step into your full potential to create impact and income. Many times you find that you need to build the capacity, you need to build the strength to be able to move into those spaces and those places. When I started, I introduced by saying, Joe shared that women don't step forward. And also you need to be able to step forward and stretch that capacity. And then the last one is step up to increase your influence and lead. We talked about the Prime Minister women. Yes, they were challenged, they resigned, but if they didn't step up and develop their leadership skills and show their own perspective, they wouldn't be where they are today. So as well as looking at these steps, what do you need to be doing within each of these steps? As I said about Brene Brown, owning your story, owning who you are. So the first thing, overarching thing you need to be thinking about when you're stepping out is giving yourself the permission to step out. Giving yourself the permission to fail, to succeed. Giving yourself permission to look like you are ambitious. Yeah, like you're ambitious, like you're driven, like you want to be a high achiever. People might not like that, but the worst case scenario would be that you would be suppressing who you really are and what you really want, right? The next one is potential. So what's my potential? What's the limit? How far can I go? How far can I push myself? You can see 60-year-old women at the moment doing some fantastic things in the world. I visited Estee Lauder's house, and she started her empire when she was in her 60s or 50s, late in life. We have Mary Kay, for example. Those women stood up and did things. If they had said, oh, we're not going to explore my potential, how would they get to where they need to be? The last one is personal effectiveness. For you to step up and feel confident and courageous, you need to keep developing yourself. You need to keep improving, personal and continuous improvement. So let's look at how you become the best version of yourself using the 3-step framework. Before I go into that, any questions, any comments? I really want people to participate. You can unmute yourself and just say a little bit, anything you want to share and anything you want to comment on. Yeah, anybody before we progress? No? Carry on? Victoria, can you see? Okay, carry on, fine. So I will carry on. So using this framework, let's talk about being the best version of yourself. So basically, I did a post last week where I was talking about the fact that a lot of times there's a slogan to find, to have a seat. Women need to have a seat at the table. I recommend watching a TEDx talk done by Shirley Sandberg, who was once the VP of Facebook. And she shares the story about the fact that when she went to a board meeting, she asked the men, because she was the only woman, she said, where's the ladies? And the men did not know where the ladies' room was because they don't factor in women being on that table. So she said she talked a lot about it. And it was from that place that finding and having a seat at the table, creating that diversity. So find the right table. The permission is about you using your ambition and saying, find the right table, the right space. And if it's a fit and an aligned, go for it. So what do you do to be able to do some of these things? The first thing is, I have an acronym here called ACE, score an ACE. So the first one is to accept who you are, your successes as well as your failures. I've been talking a lot about curating your successes and sharing them till your inner critic, first and foremost, believes you that you are not an imposter. You have done those things that you said you did. Yeah. Before you can convince somebody else, you have to convince yourself. Am I right? Before you convince anybody else, you have to convince yourself, because the way you talk about yourself will determine whether you are convinced you can do it or not. And then you have to have courage. As I've listed to you all the problems that women face on the journey to get to where they need to get to, all those challenges in the beginning, you can't face it without courage. You can't face it without saying, I'm going to go for it regardless. So courage is very important. I do have a video on my YouTube that talks about the 8 stages or steps of courage using the acronym COURAGE. If you want to watch it, let me know. I'll send it to you as well. Very useful. And then E is to explore. You're going to start to explore the areas and the places and the tables that you can find yourself to sit in. Recently I joined a board of a couple of businesses. And I did that because they said to me, women are not joining this thing, women are not mentoring. And I started to mentor as well, because I realized that I can explore my leadership strengths through this. So that is one way and you can mentor the women around you. Start with the women around you that need mentoring. Start mentoring them. Then you will discover for yourself. Then I love to use quotes, as you can imagine, because they help you remember things. So here is a very important quote when it comes to stepping out and when it comes to accepting who you are and what you do. And it says, you cannot control the cards you're dealt, but the key to success is how you play the hand. In poker or in all those tables, no matter how your circumstances are in life. You can use your stories. I say challenges are chances for change, chances for courage. So I just want you to remember that you might not be able to control the things that have happened to you, the challenges that you've experienced, the things that you've been through. However, it's how you play those cards that matters most in chasing your ambition. So don't let it hold you back. How am I going so far? Finding it valuable and finding it useful, taking any notes, because we're going to ask some questions and you're going to have your own contributions too shortly. So the next one is to step up in your potential. You need to seek the position and recognition on the right table. Guess what? A rubber band is useless, but when you stretch it, you know its capacity, right? And like I said, you have to believe in your potential. When you believe in your potential, then you can do something about it. So here's another quick way to remember: believe. Believe, they say, drives behavior. If you want to know somebody's belief about themselves, listen to the language that they use. Listen, watch their behaviors about how they move. That's how you know for sure. The next one is to invest. If you believe in something, would you invest in it? Would you invest? So how do you prove that you believe in yourself? Is by investing in yourself to get to that level that you want to get to, whether in business, whether in career. You invest whatever it takes. I remember that in the corporate space, people said, oh, you don't need this, you don't need that, just carry on. Yet I was hitting that ceiling in my journey. And I thought, well, I am going to go for it. And so in between, when my mom died, I said to them, I'm going to do my qualifications. I already have the accountancy qualifications, but I know that I need to fix this. And I went ahead and I applied for it. Nobody else was writing it but me. I had to step out from the crowd. I looked odd, but nobody else also knew what I had plans for. I dribble. I always say to people, dribble that ball till you hit the goal. When people see it in the goal, then they recognize you were actually dribbling all along. So basically, I had a goal. I was going to no longer try to fight to be in that space. I was going to leave. But for me to leave, I looked at the marketplace and said, what does this marketplace need for me to succeed, for me to ace it, to get there? And one of them was me doing this qualification when nobody else was doing. And I did it. And to be able to qualify as well, I had to stretch and say yes to, go and do audits in the finance department. Not me. I'll be like, yay, me, please. Nobody knew what I was doing. It was tough to the point where the CFO said in a meeting, he said, if Patience has her way, she'll get me sacked. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to prove to you that this risk is very important. But that's how much I was risking my head to do that job and why many people didn't want to do it. But guess what? I got popular with the audit committee chairman because he found out that I was trying to save his bottom from trouble because he was signing things that he did not have proof existed. And now the company had become PLC. The fine would be great in the corporate governance space. So later, it takes a while, but you get recognized. That's what investing in myself did for me. But it also helped me to move out of that table to a different table where people said to me, oh, please, we want you. Not only did they pay me a double salary, I called the agent back and I said, can I have more? And he said, let's ask them. And they said, yes, please. And they gave me more on top of the double they were paying for me already. So invest in your potential. What if I didn't believe that I could be more and stay there forever? What if I didn't believe that somebody could pay me double of what they were paying me and using performance reviews to talk about? Even there, they said, you don't have confidence to speak. Guess what? I left that space and went to this place where they paid me double. I spoke in the Lloyd's market for the internal audit group of the Lloyd's market. And I spoke in that place, stood in front of a crowd there of over 100 of my peers and spoke. But in my performance review, Patience doesn't talk and she doesn't have confidence. You need to believe in your own potential and move away from where it is not being appreciated. Ask. Ask for a seat at the table. Ask, and I've just shared with you my story of asking. I asked, and guess what? They had the capacity to give me more than double. Wow. Oh, if you don't ask, you don't get. One of my managers taught me that. But if you ask, you might get, right? So always ask. So here is a quote that I want you to remember. Potential are like seeds. They thrive in the right soil and with the right nurturing and pruning. So invest in your capabilities and expanding your capacity. I want you to remember this on your journey. How does that sound? Yeah? Are you already excited about the spaces that you can occupy? Empowering yourself. The last one is to have that personal effectiveness. Build your own table or space and bring others along. Many talented women are looking for a woman to support, to help bring a table that does not exist yet to life, to help bring spaces. This year, I formed a group of women. Faith is part of my thing. I formed a group of women who come together and we talk and pray about our businesses. How much that is needed is amazing. And within there, they share their gifts, their talents freely, and their blossoming is beautiful. That's my table. I created it and I'm loving it. What tables can you create so that you can expand your own ability to mentor and bring others forward? So how do you do that? Basically, you build the table. That's going to cost a lot of investment. That's going to cost a lot of time. That's going to cost building teams, building support systems around you, because guess what? No man is an island, right? And if you're already full to capacity, guess what happens? You'll be overflowing. But if you're overflowing and emptying without, so rather than overflow, what do? So rather than pouring away, what do? You pour it into another cup, right? You pour it into another cup. That's what you do. And then you have more, you have capacity for more, right? So building your own another table helps you. Influence, developing your leadership skills. There is a way to lead properly, to lead right, and to lead with ease. Find out what your leadership capability and strength is. You don't have to be dictatorial. You don't have to be authoritative. Even laissez-faire leadership can work. Yeah. I did a leadership quiz for one of my clients and she came out as laissez-faire. She was upset because she wanted to be seen as dictatorial and powerful. And I said, guess what? Laissez-faire means you have a simple and comfortable approach to letting people expand their potential within your space. You are not going to be, what do you call it? You're not going to be controlling their decisions. You're going to help them. How do you leverage the laissez-faire? How do you influence others? Find out your leadership style. I've got a quiz on my website if you want to look at it. It's kind of like, I won't say it's a perfect quiz, but it'll give you an idea if you've never done your leadership strengths. I also have a disc. The disc that I use can give you an understanding of your leadership, and it provides you with your top 5 leadership strengths and gives you a score on how you can work on them based on your personality and things. So find out about that. Then emotional intelligence, so important, especially for me working with introverts and on my journey. Oh, I will share some links where all the links I'm talking about, I will share them because I want us to get on and I want you to talk, right? So I will share all those links with Victoria and Kelly, and they will share them with you for as many you can use. So basically, emotional intelligence is so important. Very important. For years of my life, when I was younger, I realized that I kept doing like this with my emotions. If somebody said something to me, I would stay awake at night. I'll say, oh, why didn't I respond? Oh, I'm very stupid. In my head, my inner critic will say, because you're stupid. And I'll think, maybe I am, you know? And so working on emotional intelligence and being able to develop that skill set is very useful. You're not moving like the waves to every emotion that comes your way. You're also not reacting to people's emotions and their personality. You are also able to set boundaries for yourself and maintain those boundaries, because as a leader, you need to do that. You need to stand tall. You need to find the courage to maintain them. Having emotional intelligence skills helps you with that. Recently, I trained as a positive intelligence coach as well. And part of it is because this positive intelligence has a tool, and the tool allows you to do a lot of work around self-sabotage, around self-command, and building your strengths. It's a combination of emotional intelligence and cognitive behavioral therapy, and helps you also manage stress, because stress is the #1 problem that women have, and that is why menopause can also escalate issues. I will have been menopausal, and I found that once I eliminated stress, my symptoms reduced. Very important, isn't it? So emotional intelligence, without it, can create stress as well. So here is a quote as well. If you truly pour your heart into what you believe in, even if it makes you vulnerable, amazing things can and will happen. Emma Watson, you guys know the Harry Potter, I think she's the Harry Potter lady. So basically, many times to do all this stuff, to step out, to be your best self, to shine your light when others actually want you to dim it, what happens? You will feel vulnerable, you know. So I recommend Brene Brown. When it comes to vulnerability, she will help you have fun and help you, adopt your vulnerability. So that's just a couple of things, and I wanted us to discuss. I wanted us to share. So share a bit about how you feel, what some of the things you've taken, and we'll answer some questions as we go along. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have something to say. Feel free to unmute yourself to give any comments, any feedback, anything that you want to probably add to what I have said to add value to other women in this space. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Yeah.
Hi. Hello. I'm
Hi.
Mel. Yeah, I really enjoyed your presentation, and just so you know, I also have a group, but because I'm Filipino, I am one of the admins of the Filipino Mothers UK, and it's like a group of Filipino mothers based in different parts of the UK, and we have around 4,800 members. Now, you mentioned about the table, you know, and because these are obviously like moms, new moms, and some of them obviously from the business side as well. How can I provide a table for them, you know, to sort of like also make it engaging? So do you have any suggestion?
Yeah, great question. So before I contribute to it, there are some fantastic women here who might have built tables as well. Anybody want to answer that question before I contribute to it? Because like I said, I want us to all shine here. So if you are able to answer that question for Melissa, feel free. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Anybody? Okay. So that I don't keep us, let me answer the question. When you have a group of people together, one of the ways that you can provide them with space is you have to be also confident that they can manage that space that you're providing. So you give them opportunity to be exploring their potential. That's why we said P for potential. They would have ambitions. You give them the opportunity to express those ambitions within the group without making them feel like they are pushing or hitting above their level or their belt or whatever. And within that space, they can begin to use their own gifts and talents to serve other people, just like I'm doing in the chamber. I know that I'm not the most fantastic, brilliant person, but I asked to speak to my fellow women, and I'm doing that here. Yeah. So within that 4,000 people, there'll be those who want to speak, those who want to write. How can you give them opportunities to begin to shine their gifts and talents and gradually help them find their own space in the online space or within that group, because part of what you're trying to do to help people build tables is you don't have to build this table. You just have to create spaces for people to, how do I call it? In building the table, you create spaces for people to be supportive. A true leader actually develops other leaders. Yeah. A true leader actually develops other leaders, because guess what? If you develop other leaders, what happens? You have less to do. You have less to do because you don't have to. If you delegate to a leader, you go to sleep well, isn't it? Because they will take authority and they will take responsibility and they will do what they need to do. But if you're developing followers, guess what? They keep sapping your energy and you keep having to dictate. So if you have the mindset of building leaders in that group, and that's the mindset with which you're working, gradually many tables will be formed, your hands will be free, delegation will be easy, and things will work out. I hope I answered that properly, and that's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes. Thank you. Thank
anybody
you
else
so
with
much.
any question? Anybody else with any question? If not, let's answer some questions together. Let's do this. So question 1 for discussion: what are the most effective ways to counteract the negative stereotypes of feminism, especially in the workplace? What are some of the effective ways that you have seen in the workplace? And the workplace can be your small business, which is online, that's your workspace. It can be the company that you work for. What are some of the ways? Because we say that we want men to support us, and we have to help them change the negative stereotypes within the workplace. Any ideas that also the chamber will be able to put this out for women as well? So if you have, and we'll put your name against it. So if you have anything to contribute about the ways that we could look at this, what are some of your ideas?
If I'm honest with you, Patience, where we are at the chamber, we've got a lot of empowered women actually. So you know,
Yes.
especially like Jo James as well. So you know, having those figures, and Kaz as well, she is quite awesome. So you know, having those 2 women in particular to look up to is amazing. And you know, Neil and Tudor, we respect them as well, and you know, in turn for them respecting us at the same time, you know, everything is just, you know, equally balanced. So I do feel like you know, that there's not, you know, any negative stereotypes that we have as such at the chamber. I don't know if you want to add to that, Kelly, or agree with me, but you know, I've been with the chamber for 3 years and I have personally experienced that. So
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Victoria. I've only been there, what, 5 months now, and yes, we do have a lot of people to look up to there, and it's a very enjoyable place to work at. So yeah, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, and just to add to that, you know, when I said that Joe had said, for the, you know, the best person gets the job, and then when I stood in the meeting, the AGM last week, and saw that most of the positions are men, are women, and it's kind of like the men are there, but they are more of a support act almost, without also them feeling vulnerable about it. You know, I sat on the table with Neil and it was very refreshing. He didn't feel like, oh, you know, women all over me, you know, kind of thing. In fact, sometimes it can be so refreshing that it's women, that feminine energy allows you to relax when you get to work for a man. Yeah, that's an example of how you can allow women to be women in the workplace, you know, so that you can feel that flow of feminine energy that just can also birth things. You know, feminine energy is that which is creative and births new ideas, new things. Let's tap into that more. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, the best, you know, she didn't mean the best man gets the job. She just meant the best person can be a fantastic woman. And there are many fantastic women here. So that's great. Anybody else want to contribute to that before we move to the next question?
I think
Yeah.
Melanie Peak added onto the chat is to be resilient and consistent.
Okay. To be really resilient and consistent. Yeah. I intend doing a workshop on consistency, really, because I'm learning so many things about consistency and what stops people from being consistent in life and on social media and everywhere. But I think that's so important. People, you might have a battle to fight with getting women to show up or to be in the right spaces. But if you can be consistent with your messaging around equality and celebrating that equality, consistent actions, don't just have the policies in the paper, have the policies as a culture that celebrates women, that brings women to the forefront, that lets women be seen and be themselves, consistency in those things. Yeah, you have Yvonne. Thanks, Yvonne. Feel free to say something. Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. Introduce yourself and say something, yeah?
I'm Yvonne Freeman. I'm a Seroptimus, which is an international organisation for women, and we believe very much in the power of women and what we can achieve. I'm also very involved with the Canterbury Climate Action Partnership, where I'm a director. A lot of what I've achieved late in life, and what I've learned along the way is don't be afraid to speak up for yourself and let others know your opinions, because they are valid. They're just as valid as the opinions of men. And also the experience you can bring to the table. I think that's very important. And once you've shared those, then I think you begin to become not only accepted, but recognized for what you can offer.
Okay, I like that. And I think what also I can hear you amplifying and saying, we can take actions in the workplace and in the business space with courage that will help change the negative stereotypes and not play to them. We can, a woman is to be seen and not heard like a child in many parts of the world. It's interesting. I went to, I think it's Oman, and I had this idea that every woman was covered and they were in the house and everything. And I walked into this museum space and it was all women. The men were the security guards and the women were the receptionists, the administrator, the everything in their full regalia. And I thought, the world cannot see this and understand that this is working, but it works in some places. I don't know what the women there have done or how progressive it, but I found it impressive. If we can champion changing things. Okay, so let's look at the next question. The rise of women is not the fall of men. What are some of the ways you think men can be more supportive of women? So I don't know if there's a man amongst us or anything who can share a little bit. We're running very, very close to our end of time. So maybe I would do the last question, but this question, does anybody want to share some ideas? What do you think men need to do to be more supportive of women in the business space? Yeah, are people putting in comments there? More accepting, yeah? Language is a big thing. There is so much derogatory language against women. I agree. Yes, that's really important. The more we can do that. And expectations is another one. I watched a video that a man did and he said, well, you think women have it easy. They will have a baby and you expect them to snap back into sexy, look, whereas you, the man, can go drink all your couple of beers and not have anything that stretched your belly and feel that you're still acceptable. She needs to look after the babies, clean the house, do all those things and still be great in the bedroom at all those things. Do you think women have it easy? No. So basically it's more of expectations as well to balance out things for women, not because women are the weaker sex, but because they take on a lot of things on their plate, right? So anything else there? This has been okay. Yeah, that's true. They need to learn to listen without feeling threatened. I like that. So these are some of the points that the chamber can put out there and add to the conversations on Women's Day. So for you can write this down for yourself and think about it. What are some of the strategies, and for you, Melissa, as well, that you can use to step out, step in, and step up both in the workplace and in business. You can ask yourself these questions. Am I to full capacity, or can I empty my cup and stretch my capacity more? You know, they say a reservoir keeps the water and stinks, but a river flows and keeps taking and flows and never feels threatened because it flows in, receives, and flows out. Be a river, not a reservoir, right? So very quickly, these are whenever you do something, you should follow 3 processes for implementation. And first, you apply them. So out of everything I have said, what's the key message or lesson that you're taking away to apply to your life and business? One key one that will change it for you. Write that down. You feel free to put it in the chat. Change. What will you change as a result of today's session? The only constant in life is change. For you to create capacity, you might need to change. What do you need to change? So train. What training, coaching, or mentoring do you need to do to become the best version of yourself? Or, if I may add, who do you need to go tell these things to so that you can create that river flow? You have received, go give. And that is the principle of abundance. If you have space, something good will fill it as you give something good away. So who are you going to mentor? Who are you going to become a mentor to expand your leadership capabilities? So that's it. Just left for me to admonish you with a great quote by Amanda Gorman, who, those of you who watched her during Biden's swearing in, powerful lady. So here is what I want you to remember, all of you. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. And if only we're brave enough to be it. Yeah? So let's celebrate yourself, celebrate everything that you are as a woman, and be brave enough to be that light in the world. So these are all my contact details. Feel free to get in touch. Feel free to connect. I love to connect with you as much as possible. I will support your posts. Feel free to support mine, and let's grow together. Yeah. And there is the code. As far as tech is concerned, I learned to use codes and I use them everywhere. One of my good tech skills, right? Digital. Let's get more tech friendly and empowered by it. Thank you so much to the chamber, to every woman there that has supported me to get to this space. Thank you very much.
Patience, thank you so much. You are truly awesome. I feel so inspired. I feel very empowered. I feel like Wonder Woman right now. And it was, do you know what? It was just the boost I needed today, actually. So thank you so much, Patience. We're so privileged. Everyone, I'm sorry that we've run over a little bit, but I'm sure that you can forgive us because what Patience had to say was just so amazing. And if you do need if you need us to connect her to you, then get in touch with us. You've got her details here. In regards to the chat, unfortunately, with our settings, you are unable to download what was said on there, which is why I did try and put all of your names all together, so that would make it easier for you. But thank you very much for attending today. It was really, really lovely to see you all. Let's all keep connected and connect on LinkedIn, etc. And like I said, if you do need anything, then contact myself and Kelly. We'll be more than happy to you know, let you know any information that you need. I believe that we will be sending out the presentation to you in the next couple of days, and there will also be a recording of this session on our website in the resources tab of that. So give us a couple of days to upload that, and then you'll be able to rewatch it all. But yeah, so I'll let you go now.
Question quickly. Yeah. How are you going to, can you save it on your end so that you can get the people and be able to select somebody for the prize that I promised to give?
Yes, we'll sort that out, Patience, don't worry. Yeah,
okay.
I believe it was Ellen, so we'll get in contact with Ellen and I'll communicate with you. And well done, Ellen, by the way. Congratulations. Disney princess.
Better go
Thank
get your boys to watch it, Victoria. Okay,
Well,
take
do you
care.
know
Thank
what?
you so much.
I know that you're Disney, but you know, I am Marvel, and you've
Okay,
got
I'm
awesome
Marvel.
superheroes. You've got awesome women, you know, Wonder Woman and everything. Yeah, so you've got that as well. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
so it's
Thank
fun.
you so much, everybody.
Thank you,
It's great
everyone.
to have
Lovely to
you.
see.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Quick one, Victoria.
Bye,
How can I
everybody.
get some of the comments that people have written then, just so I know what value and what people's questions, because if I can't see, my thing was to be able to see it later. Can you guys download the chat on your side? No,
We
not
Let's
at all.
stay.
No.
We'll stay on Patience. We'll wait
Okay.
for everybody to leave, and then
Okay.
maybe we'll discuss it further, really,
Okay.
with you and see how we can
Okay.
figure that one out. So yeah. So Yvonne, Melissa, lovely seeing you both as always, and Nicola, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, let's see.
Oh, Yvonne, thank you so much. Are you still? Oh, is she still on?
I don't know how many of you are on. Yeah,
Ah,
okay.
she's done.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
just
so it's just us
removed
three. There we
Yeah.
go. Oh, did you?
So did you take pictures too?
I'm thinking I might have to. Or there's
let-
quite a lot on chat, isn't there?
Yeah, there's lots.
No, I
in
mean
chat.
pictures of the session itself. I know sometimes you take that. Did you screenshot?
No, I
No.
didn't.
Did you not? Oh no, I didn't either.
Oh, and I usually do it, but I just thought
Oh no!
you guys are
Oh
used
God!
to doing it. So,
Sorry, Patience.
but within the recording, you can, I don't know how you can do it now, because with the recording, it's hidden from sight of people that attended. So you won't be able to do that. But
Well, what I'll do then the next couple of days when the recording is uploaded, maybe I'll put the link on that. I'll put the link on the post of the recording, maybe, so that people can watch it.
What I usually do is, though, I send out a batch message now to everybody who came, and in that batch message, I will put the PDF slides on there so they can look at the slides, and I'll also put in your LinkedIn, your information that's here. I can pop all in the message so everybody receives it.
yeah. Okay, so let me do something, which is, let me see what I can do. Bear with me 1 second. I just want to do something with your permission. I can copy the, let's see whether it will work. So, because this is what I have learned in the past as a speaker, that if I don't get the things that, if I don't pick up things and put them somewhere, then I won't have things to maybe refer to, and I won't know the value that I bring. So it's all about helping to build that value, and see what value. So let me see whether it will work. I don't know how you guys have. Well, remember that people would want to take part in when they share their things. So maybe ask for whether you can do that with your chats and see.
I want to download them. Has that ever been inquired about, Kels?
No, it hasn't. I think I'll bring that up in the meeting, because I think it's a
Yeah,
valid point,
because
actually.
if people are interacting in the chats and your idea is for people to connect, it's distracting when all they do is try to connect during the session. So by being able to download, it's not working. So I would have to, it's not allowing me to copy it. Okay. Take away and pass my fellow women work. Yeah, I hope the chamber also has special occasion event like this exclusively for women, just like this. So you see, Kelly proves my point, right? When you wanted men to come, and she said, hope the chamber has occasion and events exclusively for women. So I'm glad that we didn't dilute it and we let women be women and have the day. You know what I mean? That's what I thought of when I wanted to change it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. It's just that I feel, you know, we've got a Women's Day.
Yeah.
there's not a men's day, is there? And I
Yeah,
feel
it's like we're trying to be equal.
we're trying to be equal. Yeah.
Let me tell you what will help you. When I was in audit and the Equality Act came out in about 2010 or thereabouts, and they gave us training on equality. And one of the things they said is people are equal, but not differently. They are differently equal. Basically, if you're in a room with a disabled person, that's a good example. You wouldn't say, oh, we have to get what that disabled person is getting, would you? You will let them have their space. Let them have what they need to thrive. So equality is saying, what does this group of people need to thrive? And giving it to them specifically. Then they will be able to measure up, because now they are thriving. They're able to measure up with other people that are thriving, because the deficit in their lives, if it's not given to them, and if you're trying to say all of you attend training on communication, well, the person who needs it more might be the person who doesn't speak a lot, not the person who is controlling the meeting. You want to train that person more? Why? You want to train the one that is not talking. So when it comes to the women thing, it's a man's world. We can pretend it's not. So men don't need to be told that they need to be empowered or they are in control. They can have other things they talk about, but women need to be empowered to fight the battles they fight. A lot of sexual harassment and things is more a woman's thing than a man's thing. If you try to put it all together and say sexual harassment, let's talk about it with men and women. Men go out any time of the night. They are not afraid of being attacked. Can a woman do the same? No. So can you put the same policies in place for men and women? No. Then that's equality. Does it make sense now?
No, that's good point. No, that is good points. But
that
then
is equality.
But then I'm also finding as well at the moment that everything's just changing so much, and actually men are actually getting a little bit more emotional than women. I'm finding, and even like the statistics, like you'll find most of them, committing suicide, things like that. So,
but guess what? Men don't do well with talking like this and opening up. This forum is not what they need. What they need is totally different. It's kind of like, the what do you call it? The retreats that we go for and we value so much, and we do it more and more. That's what men need. Men's time away, man to man, mano a mano, go there together, play golf together, and have those. That's what they need. They don't need things like, because it makes them feel weak. Whereas for us women, we shout a lot. We want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So equal means that you find what they want to do and what women want to do, give it to them. Then it's equal and it's balanced and it's understanding the differences in the sexes. My daughter I have both of them, so I understand. My son, talking gives him a headache. My daughter, she will talk your ear off. She will tell you if she's pinched, but my son will not tell you until it's too late. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So what I do is every day I pester my son. I send him things. He might not answer, he might not acknowledge, but the fact that I'm doing it, so he knows that I care. But my daughter, I don't even have to cough. She will tell me 500 things. She will make me celebrate her. She will send me her results and say, did you see that I got this? My son will not do that. So people are different, right? So I'm just taking notes, and then I'll let you guys go if you don't mind.
No, that's
language
fine.
is a big thing there. So language, yeah. And you guys probably need to write some of these points down to use as your strategies. I'm going through it now. Yeah.
What I'm doing actually is just
women surpassing men. Okay. Yeah. So
we won't be too long, Kelly.
No, that's fine.
I'm just screenshotting the screens actually into Word. Yeah, because it is quite useful in the chat to get all that information, actually, because there was a lot, actually, because usually they don't talk as much, actually, do they, Kelly?
No, you're right. There was a good discussion there.
That was really
Well,
good.
yes, for you, Kelly, I like how passionate you are about some things, being a teacher, people really learning, people really taking away things. And I thought about that in creating the slides. So did I do well? Do I get a pass mark, teacher Kelly?
Gold stuff.
You've done
You know.
amazingly well. And I like how it was, like I said, because of my past, what I've done, like it being interactive, you just take so much more away than somebody just speaking to the audience. And that showed on the chat as well. So it's really, and I love the way you used like the Disney princesses as well. I remember doing that when I was at uni, being taught about the Disney princesses when I was doing my degree.
Wow, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and they just, you can put, it's symbolism, isn't it? So people can actually think about.
Resonate,
resonate with it. And it's visual, and I love that kind of learning. So it was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Patience. You are a great speaker. You really are.
Thank you. The other thing is the slides. How do you guys, because this is also part of a paid thing I do. So if you pay me, I will share my slides. But if you don't pay me, I won't share my slides. You can use the video. So I don't know how it works for you guys. You always share the slides with participants?
Usually we usually we do.
Okay. Let me just ask my mentor. Because basically, if it's paid, I give the slides. If it's not paid and it's free, it's kind of like, this is something people pay for because they use the slides. Of course, it will be more detailed and have more information than this. I've only touched the surface of because there's not enough time in 1 hour to give the whole framework, but I tend to only do that. But let me just double check and then I'll let you know very quickly. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. No, otherwise I wouldn't have said anything at all.
Yeah, confidence to take a jump that have been Umin and I. Okay, Joe. Who is Joe? Is it not Joe?
No, not Joe.
I was like, no, Joe has so much confidence.
Let me find out if there's a Joe on the attendee list. Actually, I don't know who Joe was, to be honest with you.
No, I haven't come across.
No, there was some there was like Catherine Hancock. She booked under her name 3 times basically, so it might have been from one of those
okay, so what I wish I could get the names of these people to connect with everybody, but I can't. So
no, you wouldn't. I think, and then there was Shannon and what was it? Shannon and Rebecca. I don't know who they were.
Wow, I love this. No, please take a screenshot. She said, my male CEO, Catherine said, my male CEO just got 14 out of 15, which is better than I got.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. He does better than we do. Yeah, Shannon and Rebecca, not sure who they were.
Yeah, okay. So let me let you guys go. Thank you for staying behind and letting me do this. But obviously I can't link up to everybody. But if I get the list of attendees, I can link up with them on social media, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. I'll send them across to you.
Okay, thank you.
And in the chat, I put in the names. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, but I can't copy it.
I screenshotted those on my phone, so I
can. So well done, ladies. You guys are
that would have been better if I took pictures, really. Okay, no worries. But I might go back and once you've uploaded the video. Oh, mind you, it doesn't have all the everyone.
No, it doesn't. It does download. It does save the chat. You know that, don't you? Zoom saves the
download stuff.
Yeah, so Zoom saves the chat, it saves the video, and it saves the audio.
Oh,
I don't know if it does.
Zoom saves all 3. When you have a download, it will have at least 4 or 3 or 4 downloads. It saves the chat, it saves everything. So check that you have all the 4 or 3 downloads and you can save all of them.
I'll have a look.
Yeah. So have a
Yeah.
look when you're doing it. That's a tech training for you. But I just want to say, you guys are doing a fantastic job of recruiting people. Can you recruit more Black women and Asian women to the group, to the chamber as well? If you can, try your best to do that. They don't know the value of coming, and maybe in the past I wanted to leave because I felt alone and I felt marginalized. So again, if you can
you've
get
got
people,
many patients.
no, I mean before. Do you get what
Oh,
I'm saying? Before, long before, and
Yeah.
there were only about 3 or 4 of us that were Black. Now I can't see whether there's any other Black woman than myself. I'm not trying. I'm okay with whatever color. Like I said, I focus on color now because there's only one human race. But it's just that there are groups of people that have extra layers of challenges over and above other people. It is the way the world is at the moment. That's the real world. So if you guys can target more of them, or have a strategy towards helping them know the values that or what they can benefit from, it will all be useful. Yeah. So, but you're doing fantastic. I can see everything growing under your focus and your work. So well done, and thank you for giving me the opportunity as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Patience.